So what is the new player experience actually like in Punishing Gray Raven? I've been playing Punishing Gray Raven for about 2 full weeks now by the time this video comes out. I wanted to share my experience and then give a few tips for new players who are coming into it and things to prepare for when getting started. Now, by no means am I saying that I am an expert on Punishing Gray Raven. That's the point. I'm a new player who came in with no experience or context really, and I think it's the experience that a lot of other gamers who are coming in with no context are going to have as well. So let's not waste your time and let's just jump right into it. Let's get the obvious one out of the way. The visuals in this game are stunning, and it is the one thing that drew me to this game in the first place. And these animated specials that come out along with it as well, and for in between chapters, are amazing, and it's one of the things that got me excited about the game in the first place, and got me excited to want to try and do something myself just by how unreal it is. I mean, look at this. That's art. And now while the graphics are great and really well polished, some of the characters' base designs are kind of generic still. However, the coatings really do make up for it on a lot of these characters. So if you want, you can always grind out those coatings, and if there's a particular character whose playstyle you really like, but maybe you don't like their appearance as much, they probably have at least one coating that you're going to be excited about, and so you could go and grind that out if you really wanted to. If you don't really want to grind out coatings, the new characters basically look like they've got some kind of like high grade paid skin already on them out of the box. And if you want more information on that, you can see my video that I just posted recently about the Han Ying closed beta, where we get to get some more details about her. And I think that's everything you need to see about characters coming down the line. So enough about graphics, but what about the story? Now I'm going to say something that might really bug people, so just stick with me for a moment, okay? Out the gate, Punishing Gray Raven's story is really mid.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
The light novel style is not something that really connects with me personally, and so I initially had wrote it off as just being another generic gacha game story. And to be honest, I was kind of right, but also so unbelievably wrong. It's pretty universally agreed upon that the beginning of Punishing Gray Raven's story is actually probably one of the weakest elements of the entire game, and this stretches from about chapters 1 to 8, based on other community feedback that I've gotten as well. However, the story is actually insanely deep, very fleshed out, and has some of the great twists and turns that come out down the line that is a really worthwhile payoff to see. As I've been diving deeper into the lore, I came across some community contributions, and there are pages and pages and pages of lore that you can read through, just even on the first 8 chapters alone. That's not even to speak to up to chapter 17, which is currently released on Global, and it's up to something like chapter 23 on the CN servers. So there is still a ton of story to go for us plebeians on the Global server. Shifting gears a little bit, I want to talk about the game systems and the overall flow of the game as a new player. I've got a few gripes with this one as well, and to give the game credit, I think part of this is me coming into the game so late on the global release, and really that serves to be both a pro and a con. In the beginning, there is so much to learn. And when trying to grind out the story, it feels like in the first few chapters, after every single mission, you get pulled out of the story back to the main menu to look at another system that's just been unlocked in the game. And it's really overwhelming. If it's not a new system, then it's a new game mode. If it's not a new game mode, then it's a new event. And if it's not a new event, then it's a first-time player unlocking system. Like there's always something else that's pinging, always another notification on your screen. It's sensory overload for sure. I have a lot of gacha experience, so I'm very well versed with artifact systems and equipment systems and weapon systems across all different kinds of genres within kind of the gacha gaming sphere. And even I found Punishing Gray Raven's management system to be really tough to navigate in the beginning. I've been making content on PGR, and so it's really easy for someone like me to justify the time I'm putting into it to learn all the systems, to grind out the different game modes, but I definitely don't think it's going to be for everyone, and that's okay. I think overall Punishing Gray Raven serves a niche in the gaming community, and it serves that niche very well. So as I said before, coming into the game late was both a pro and a con, and that was kind of the con side, but here's the pro. There is a ton to do. So if you like the gear management, if you like the challenge modes, if you like grinding out the story, there is so much to sink your teeth into that you are going to have an absolute heyday with this game when you kick off, because there's going to be so much to do. Now that I've been progressing though, I am definitely feeling some shifts in the way that I play the game. When I first started out, I could easily do a multi-hour session and still have way more that I needed and could do. As you level up, you get more serum, which is this game's stamina system, which is what you use to play the different game modes. And mixed in with that, character progression is also tied to your level. So the more that you level, the stronger that you can make your character. The stronger your character, the more you can progress. The more you progress, the more that you level, and it just becomes a self-feeding cycle of progression. But as the levels start to become fewer and farther between, you definitely feel that pace start to slow down. I can already tell, just even after 2 weeks, I'm starting to creep up on the daily grind territory as I find myself running out of serum a lot faster. In the first week of PGR, I hit level 52, which is like the second last level barrier to level 80, which is where you can max out your characters and gear. In the week since, I've just made it up to level 64. I'm recording this the day before 2 weeks technically, so let's be generous and just say I'd hit level 65 or level 66 after a bit more grinding. That's a pretty stark difference between 1 to 52 to a week and 52 to 65 in a week. Now, I feel like a pretty easy criticism of that point is maybe I'm not optimizing my resources in the best way, and maybe I could actually be, far past level 65 after week 2. And that's fair, because you know what? I probably am not. And that's the thing. Most other players also won't be. So I still think the average player is going to end up where I'm at, and that's with a decent amount of grinding. Also, to the game's credit, however, there are some game modes that don't require serum. So if you want to be the faker of punishing Grey Raven and you want to get really sweaty and just become an absolute master with some of these characters, you can. And there are places to do that. And if you are just obsessed with this game, you can keep playing. But let's just say you are going to have a lot of competition within the community if that's something you're striving for. There are some absolutely buck wild PGR players. You can find no-hit runs on pretty much every boss with every character, and it's insane. So good luck. So now I want to talk a bit about the premium currency economy. This is by no means exclusive to PGR by any means, but there are way too many currencies in this game. There are currencies from the guild, there's rainbow cards, there's coding blueprints. Look at this, the dorm alone has 3 currencies with the decor coins and the dorm coins, and then you can use those within the shop so that you can buy the coding sketches, and then you use the coding sketches to redeem those to get the coding blueprints, to actually purchase some of the codings in the coding shop, and it's just a lot. Even after 2 weeks, I still don't understand all of the currencies, in particular the guild ones, or the best way to use them. For people who love this game, put your fingers down. I also like this game. And I know as a longtime player, it might be more frustrating to hear because you're thinking, well, it's not that hard. You just use these currencies for different things. But I'm speaking from a new player experience here, not a veteran player. And it's definitely different. Stepping back on the currencies for a sec, there's one primary currency in the game that you're going to be using to use in the gacha system. We all know this, but it is the black cards. And they're what you're going to be using to pull on any of the gacha banners, whether it's the Transcendence, the event, the base. Black cards are converted into whatever currency is appropriate for pulling on the gacha system. Like other gachas too, they're very generous in the early game, and there are so many ways to get the black cards for first-time unlocks. There's the main story, interlude chapters, just like a lot of ways that you can get those black cards, and you can grind them out really fast. Like I would say I've been targeting them a decent amount, and so far I've grinded out close to 15k on the black cards just from playing in the last couple weeks. If I still had all 15 cards, I could have actually gotten the themed construct on this, because the game is really generous with a 100% rate up on the new characters when they drop. Now, after progressing through a lot of the new player one-time ways of getting the black cards, your primary ways are going to be through the Phantom Pain tower and through the War Zone. And it is actually really easy to get these. Most of them are unlocked just by playing. And so I really do respect the game and respect the devs for making it so accessible for players. Based on the feedback I've gotten on the black card economy to when new characters typically drop, if you save your black cards in between new banners, you can effectively guarantee at least one new character every single time they drop. I love that. I love that it is so easy to get the new characters, because especially in a game like this, that's where a lot of the fun really is it's getting the different characters to play out these different challenges. So I love to see that. Now, if you're saving all your black cards for the characters, you're not going to have any black cards to pull on the weapon banner, but that's whale territory anyway. So unless you are super dedicated to a particular character, you're probably not going to be doing that. But looking at you, Crimson Weave. Now, I will say the gacha was a little confusing for me coming into it, because there was just so many different banners. Understanding the rates and what each one meant, maybe you just think I'm dumb for this, and you know what? I probably am. But it is a little confusing. And the other fun part, though, is because Global's so far behind, we know the characters that are coming. You know the characters you can save for, and some of them look sick. So if you get a chance, go take a look at the characters coming on the CN server. But I really just want to make note that this 60 pull for 100% rate up banner is pretty unheard of. I've played a lot of other gachas at this point, and I don't recall any of them having a guaranteed on the first time you pull for the character. 100% chance on the first 60 based on the card economy that I'm seeing is super generous. Kuro has a lot of my respect for this. So where does that leave me with all of this? Overall, I am loving it. I'm loving playing through this game. I'm loving engaging with you guys in the community. And there is still so much more content for me to play through that I am excited. I just think there's a few pain points in the new player experience that I don't think there's much you can do with it being a slightly more mature game. But at the end of the day, the sheer amount of content that is available for free in this game can't go unnoticed. If you resist the temptation to spend on the game, you can come in and get hours of enjoyment out of this game, and you can pretty much farm next to everything in the game that you could want to really have an enjoyable experience. And that can't be said about a lot of other gachas that have a lot of free to pay paywalls in them that you eventually hit. And what I mean by that is, you need a certain number of duplicates on characters, or else you can't progress any farther because the content is too hard. And so far, I'm not aware of this existing in this game, and I haven't seen it. Anyway, that's kind of it for my thoughts on the game from the new player experience. Let me know your thoughts down below. Did you have a similar experience when you started the game out? I know a lot of people who've watched this have started since launch. And so what was the experience like for you? How has it changed? And what were some cool improvements that have been there that maybe I didn't have to experience? And maybe there were things that were a lot worse. I'd love to hear about them in the comments down below. Let me know. I have noticed that there's more content that really is missing in the PGR community. And so I'm going to do my best to try and help make more content for other new players to come into this game and maybe ease that experience a little bit, because I think this game deserves a lot more attention. I know it had a bit of an influx about a year ago, but I think it still deserves the attention that it had then and it deserves now. So yeah, again, let me know your thoughts below. Thank you so much for the support, and thanks for watching.